favorite things to do is to talk about myself, and I get to do it for a grade. So my name is Clover, professionally as Clover Lagas, and yes, I did dig my own grave choosing a second name that nobody knows how to pronounce. I'm a BA theater major, which means I didn't have to make a website for an assignment, but I do have one. I had one already, so I might as well put it up there. And I'm also a sociology and creative writing double minor. And what do those have to do with my major? Well, I'll tell you exactly why. So let's start out with sociology. First of all, I got the TISM. And as someone who is autistic, I do not know how to socialize by default. And social constructs, what even the heck are they? So to solve this problem, bam, sociology minor. Did I learn how people interact with each other? Yes. Did I learn about social constructs? Yes. Did I learn how to socialize? Absolutely not. But my knowledge of how people interact is what mainly informs my acting method. That's what it has to do with theater. And knowing my knowledge of interactions between people helps inform the characters that I play on stage. Now, what about creative writing? That's just acting in a different font. See what I did there? Instead of portraying the characters physically and vocally on stage, I portray them by writing them on the page, crafting their stories, creating their interactions, and then sharing the stories with everyone else. So what was I doing before I came to PLU? Theater. What else do you think I was doing? So I started doing theater in 2013 in 5th grade. That was the first year that my school district, White River School District, started doing all-district musicals. And the very first one that I did was Willy Wonka, and I was a candy kid singing the Candyman. But every year after that, they continued to do all-district musicals. Some of my favorites were The Little Mermaid. I was Scuttle. And then the last one I did for COVID hit was Mary Poppins. Now it's Mary Poppins. I got cast as a lot of comedic roles, so also like Cogsworth of Beauty and the Beast. So I was always making people laugh on stage. Mary Poppins was actually one of the rare feminine roles I was cast in. That should have given me a clue that I was not, in fact, a woman. But the same year that I started doing theater in 5th grade, that summer I started doing summer camps with a local children's theater in Enumclaw, Washington, called Imagination Theater. And I did their summer camps every year. Some of my favorites were Alice in Wonderland, or Wonder in Alice Land, as to not get copyrighted by Disney. And the last show that I did before I came to PLU was Seussical, the musical, and I was 14. But speaking of COVID hitting my senior year of high school, I was unable to do theater. So what did I do instead? I dressed up in silly outfits and I made TikTok videos. And I would like to give a special shout out to my hobby of doing cosplay, because when I'm in front of that camera, I am my own worst director. I am acting the house down, and if I am not acting, then I'm not doing it right. But also, it has played a big part in what I've done backstage here at PLU. Every single running crew I have done wardrobe crew. I have not done anything else. And this year I decided to use my knowledge of costume crafts to start working in the costume shop as a costume assistant. Because about half of those I made or modified myself, those costumes. Some completely from scratch and some I got at Goodwill. But anyways, then I came to PLU. I mean, I still do cosplay, but then I came to PLU, I still do it. So I came to PLU knowing that I wanted to act because I've been doing theater for so long. And so I've auditioned for most of the spotlight shows and most of the student-led shows. But the first show that I was in at PLU was She Kills Monsters. Shout out to the main cast on stage there, because I looked through the pictures and none of them had me in it. So shout out to that. I love doing She Kills Monsters because it's D&D inspired, and I got to do some of my first on-stage combat. And then I was also cast in Normal City Musical, which, for those who don't know, is a new works that originated here at PLU. And I got to originate one of the roles. One of my favorite shows that I've been in, Mackers, is the first spotlight show and the only spotlight show so far that I've been in. And it was really cool for me, one, because I got to swing a sword around. Swinging swords around is fun. My other favorite production that I've been in here at PLU was the last one acts, because the two scenes that I were in, I got to work out both my comedic acting chops and my dramatic acting chops. So I loved the difference in those two characters that I got to play. One of the scenes was Midnight Dialogues, where I got to play a very deeply emotional character. I broke down on stage. And in the other scene, I was in the elevator and I got to play a more comedic role. I love making people laugh on stage. That's going to come up more often. But that's about the highlights of my theater experience here at PLU. The other experience I've had at PLU, about starting my second year, I have an interest also in film and television acting, acting for camera. And I got the piece of advice that if you want to expand that, get in front of a camera. So guess what I did? I joined Late Night! Yes! Shout out to Late Night. They're all here. I love you, cookies. Jeff too, So for those of you who don't know, Late Night is a student-run in student media. We do live shows, we do live comedy shows. We're a parody of SNL, Daily Show, Jimmy Kimmel, those kinds of things. And I've absolutely loved my experience at Late Night. It has been one of the biggest experiences I've had here at PLU because I've gotten to act in comedic skits. I've gotten to act live on stage. I've gotten to direct a skit, write a skit, all sorts of things that have been really fun. And yes, I was in a tree this weekend. You may have seen me. That is what's for Late Night. Come see our first show. It's on November 7th.
Second.
I'm wrong. 7th is the next show. But this year, I'm one of the hosts of Late Night, and it's really expanded my love for comedy and getting more into comedic acting. And some of the opportunities I've gotten knowing people at Late Night. Last year, I was in a short film called Zombies, Love, and Guts by one of our PLU alumni, Caleb Ewell. That was one of my favorite things to do because I got to be on set, be in front of a camera. And one of the other opportunities I have gotten offered to me because I've been at Late Night is at the end of this month, I got invited to a inter-university college comedy show where a bunch of comedians across universities are going to put on a little show. And it's my first time writing stand-up, so I'm happy, I'm excited for that. I'm scared. But what am I gonna do with all that experience? Well, act for film and TV, of course, with this easy 3-step plan. So my plan right now is to, as soon as I graduate, and even this year, I'm going to seek out film companies in the greater Seattle area. I'm going to audition for them, hope to get into a few of them. I'd also like to, I'm very interested in getting, what's the word for it? Getting an agent, but also being represented. That's the word. Being represented by an agent or an agency. That's one of my future goals. And then my far future goals is if I get paid, I want to unionize. Unionize! Where am I going to do that? I don't know yet. I'm kind of a go with the flow person. Take me wherever the next step takes me is where it's going to take me. Whether that be Chicago or here in the Pacific North, I don't know. I'm going to see what life throws at me. So one of the reasons, or the main reason why I'm doing all this is because my vocation with my art is that I want to be able to inspire other people in the way that my inspirations and the people and the actors that I look up to have inspired me in the past. I want to do that for somebody else. and inspire them by sharing the stories that speak to me, portraying characters, creating artwork, being in movies that really speak to me. And that's how I want to inspire other people through my art, through my craft. And that is why my three identities are actor, artist, and comedian. Thank you so much.